Welcome, CP Finitians, to 11.1 Propositions. We are going to be delving into logic, which actually is another twist of mathematics in that there's not as many numbers, but it's actually kind of more based on words. So logic is a form of mathematics in that it involves a lot of the proofs you might be doing later on. That's what you use are proofs to prove statements like y is 0 equal to 0, and it's a lot more difficult than perhaps you know. Anyway, just a basic taste of it for us. First thing we need to do is state what one of the basic building blocks of logic are, and that is a proposition. Okay, so a proposition is a statement that can have one of the two values true or false. Think of it as a proposition means it can be like a true-false question. Okay, now typically they involve the words is, are, and was. It can be difficult to evaluate propositions because of unclear meanings, maybe differences in opinions. So I like French fries. That's an opinion. 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 And also because of ambiguous situations, okay, or things that may or may not actually really be true or not. But you can say things like, I like nachos. Well, that could be true or false. It's not that it is true or false, it's just because it can be answered true or false. So we're going to get into what's called symbolic logic. Okay, and that is allowing us to kind of take a shorthand way to represent problems and address logic without letting language and opinion get in the way. So those are all propositions. Things that are not propositions are these few counterexamples here. Anything like where are you? So questions. Where are you? Well, you wouldn't say true or false if someone asked you, where are you? True. Okay. So it can't be answered because it's a question. So questions cannot be propositions. That's an interrogative, statement. Exclamatory sentences like nice job, woo, exclamation point. Again, that is pretty much an exclamatory statement. So if you see an exclamation point, it will not be a proposition. Okay, you might say, well, it could be answered true or false, but for our sake, exclamations are not propositions. And lastly, commands like walk the dog. Okay, mom tells you, can you walk the dog? And you're like, true. I mean, I guess you could say that, but you typically would not answer someone with that type of statement. So walk the dog or commands, get to the chopper, okay, those are not types of propositions. So basically, just kind of practicing these, if you have a few the statements here, the sky is blue. Now, yes, it might be blue, maybe it's black, but this particular case is a proposition. You could say true or false. Apples cost $5 a pound. Well, maybe they cost 6, maybe they cost 4, but you could say yes, that's true, or it's false. So it is a proposition. Great job. Okay. Again, exclamation point, not the fact that it could be true or false. So this is not a proposition. Where are you? No, because of the question mark. Nice shoes. No. I want a cookie. Well, who doesn't want a cookie? So that's true or false. This is a proposition. Even though it is kind of an opinion, you can say, I want a cookie. Yeah, that is true. The earth is flat. That also is a proposition. We know, really, that it's false. Okay, but again, this is kind of like an ambiguous situation. Even though you know that this is false, it can still be answered with true and false. So the earth is flat. It's not saying um, an exclamation. It's not anything um, like that, I guess, suppose. How do you get to Harrisburg? Question mark. That is a no. And do your homework. That is no. Why? Because it is a command. Okay. Even though many of you are like, no, I'm not going to do my homework. So you might say it's false. Okay. So what I'd like you to do just after we're all done is go through these ones and see what you get as well. And I'll check over those at the end. Now, before you do those, however, or you can pause and do those, let's move on to the last little piece, which is dealing with compound propositions. So a compound, well, when you have compounded interest or anything, or compounds in chemistry, that is two statements combined. So a compound proposition is a statement formed by combining or negating a proposition. So we have different connectives, and they are the words either, the words or, the words and the word but, if, and then. We'll get into the if and thens a little bit later, but for right now we'll talk about these here. So what we call a conjunction, junction, what's your function? That's when you take a statement. So we're going to use P as some statement and Q. So P and Q are just two different propositions. Okay, the last thing is we use the symbol, little caret perhaps, to be our and symbol. That means and. Okay, now here's another big takeaway. For a conjunction to be true, so for a conjunction to be true, both P and Q must be true. So and is only true if P and Q are true. And we will do examples if it seems funky right now. Inclusive disjunction. Okay, this is when you have P or Q or both. It's including. And we use the symbol PVQ. Okay, that means or both. Okay, so only one statement needs to be true. Needs to be true. The exclusive disjunction is strictly P or Q. It is not either. This is symbolized by P, V underscore Q. So these are the main differences. Both does not have the funky thing underneath. Strictly or not both has the funky thing underneath. And this is when only one, so P or Q, is true. Okay, that is when an exclusive disjunction is true, is when you only can have one of the statements. Negation is simply put, that is the opposite or not the proposition. And it's symbolized by that there, and it's basically your opposites. Okay, so we will get into how to use all that in a second here. Quantifiers are the last thing we need, and those are things like like every, each, and none. It says how many things are considered, and also for some things there exist, or at least one. Okay, these are all different types of the word all, and these are all different types of the word some. Let's get into some practice here. So basically, if you're negating statements, so these are all propositions. I want a cookie, we said that was true or false. If you wanted to negate that, it would say, okay, so this is our statement P. I want a cookie. If you were to take not P, that would correspond with I don't want a cookie. Okay, so negating is the process of doing the opposite. I don't want a cookie. Whoops. Okay, so you're just adding that little word. Some people like cheese. To negate this, you have to negate the quantifier and liking cheese. So not, so again, maybe this is the statement Q. Not Q would be all people do not like cheese. You need to negate not only the quantifier, if there is one, but also the action or the verb as well. So all people are intelligent. If we were to negate this one, let's call it, I don't know, T, the statement. All people are intelligent. First, we need to negate all. So we change all to some people. And the second statement is are intelligent, so we change it to are not intelligent. Okay, so are not intelligent. Mike wants all of your money. For this one, to kind of help you, I want you to finish. There's no quantifier, so you just need to change all of your money to something a little different. And also, everybody loves Raymond. Everybody is a quantifier, and loves you also need to negate. Okay, so there's different times where you have to negate more. Okay, we'll be practicing these again. The last thing here, before I let you go, is creating compound propositions. So now, consider the propositions, write the logical statement. Okay, as we continue on here, the last thing is creating compound propositions basically from the P and Q we're given. So they will give you the symbols and you have to put them back into words. So our basic thing here is we have P, V, Q. That is the inclusive or, which means or and both. So those two words need to be into your combination. And basically, you're just going to take P, which is I want fries. I want fries. And you use the proper connector or a milkshake. Whoops. And lastly, make sure you have or both. Okay, the biggest thing, well, actually no parenthesis or no exclamation, or both. Okay, the biggest difference is between this and this. You might say it's very close. This is the exclusive or, and it just is only the word or. Okay, not both. So that's only if you have the choice of fries or a shake. Fries or, that's it, a shake. Okay, not both. Whenever you have the funky thing down below. This is the symbol for and. So basically you're combining I want fries and a shake. And lastly, this is negating the proposition of P. So once the opposite of P, that statement. Okay, so be careful. It is I want fries, so I do not, or I don't want fries. I won't be very picky if you put do not or don't as far as grammar goes. Okay. Now, some of these are a little more challenging. So notice here you're double negating. So really it's like I don't, which you end up with the same thing back. So a double negation cancels each other out. But still, if you write it out twice, you'll kind of see that. So you actually end up with the original statement. So you're saying I don't want a milkshake, which means you do want a milkshake, I suppose. Okay. So go ahead and try and finish these up as well. There'll be some extra practice for you if you want to write 7 out again. But what I'd like you to do then on Google Classrooms, finish those up. I would also like you to post an example of a proposition, proposition, and also post a non-proposition. Okay, so that is your task for Google Classrooms. Thanks for hanging in there, and finish those up, and I'll give you the homework to finish over. Thanks, guys.